Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 3 of Triggering Chaos. I'm your host, So, and this is my co-host, M.
Yeah, we took a impromptu summer break for multiple reasons. One, Soul's hours shifted. Two, we were more focused on helping our friend Nemesis Valkyrie with her charity streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And three, we just got fed up with technical difficulties and needed a break.
Yeah, and you may notice that there's been a few minor changes. I'm still working out a few of the bugs with it, but now we have popping images to show when we're talking, and we'll be constantly on the screen too. I kind of like this better.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yes,
working
we
out
should.
where to place them for purposes of the images and everything like that, so please bear with me. I'm still learning this. It's been a work in progress. You might have also noticed that there's been no intro music. Due to some updates from OBS, I'm still trying to figure out how to get that to replay. But at the same time, I want to be able to play this for everybody. So, give and take at this point. Give and take.
We'll get there when we get there. Hopefully,
Yeah.
when we can upgrade his computer setup. Regardless, though, we are back again, and with the new season of Bleach going up now, we might as well talk about the second filler arc era of
Yes, and
Bleach.
before we, I do apologize. This was supposed to be before the Final Fantasy 14 episode in season 2, but once again, technical issues popped up. I do apologize, but I
For
mean,
some reason, it didn't save fully last time, so we only had a snippet or something like that. I don't remember. It was a pain in the ass, and we just basically threw our fists up and just yep.
it was just time to know when to stop.
Anyway.
But
So
I mean,
we're
like,
gonna
what's the worst that can happen after just a little bit of break? It's not like you're just gonna get stabbed. I really gotta stop trying to go against that argument.
seriously, that boy is not good at making friends. Or he's good at making friends. I don't know. Regardless, we're going to talk about the what's referred to as the
New
new
Captain
captain
arc?
arc,
Yeah.
the third squad captain arc. It's got a few names. Some call it the Bakoto arc. I've also heard it called. I've also heard it called the fake captain arc, which it's not really a fake captain.
He was made. The guy was made an actual captain. It's not like he had reasons to become a captain behind everyone's back, but it wasn't like he didn't actually receive the rank.
Yeah, and
So
I know some people call it fake because it's filler. It doesn't count. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not really, but it was a fairly entertaining arc in my opinion. Not better than any of the canon arcs, but I certainly enjoyed myself when I watched it. It wasn't anything revolutionary. It didn't really wow me with anything new, but you know what it gave me? More time with characters I like, which is the point of filler in terms of viewing it.
I.
The point of filler is to fill in time between productions,
Mhm.
yes, but the point of filler as the audience is to spend more time with characters you like, or in some shows, characters you want just to get hit by a train.
But you see, this is also kind of where it can also stab the show in the back because while it can bring you more to the character, it can also raise a lot of questions that are going to be a lot of problems for the show itself.
And Bleach's major problem with its filler arc, which it didn't have in the Bout arc, is let's just cram it in somewhere.
Yeah. See, this is
The Bout
technically
arc,
supposed to take place after Aizen leaves Soul Society.
but not before Ichigo goes to Aizen's place, but he's also got some abilities from when he goes to Aizen's place.
Look, this is just going to have a lot of fans arguing. Like
Yeah.
these two.
I mean, I wouldn't really consider Ichigo a fan of Yoruichi. But yeah, this is one of the things I like about filler arcs is that it can give you interactions that the main story either doesn't for time's sake or the creator just at the minute didn't think of it.
Or
And
would make
honestly,
sense throughout most of the story. Because these
yeah,
two, while probably are aware of each other, would not have a lot of time to interact.
no, but they really should because, well, they're both trained by Yoruichi. They're both speedsters,
Mm-hmm.
and both of them really don't like other people's bullshit.
Yeah, the thing is that Soy Fan just has a bigger temper than Ichigo does. Like
She
Ichigo will get
really,
mad. Soy Fan just sometimes just seems to have a short fuse for a lot of shit.
maybe it's because she's closer to the ground. I've noticed that short people seem to be shorter fused. But yeah,
I'm not saying anything on that one.
these are two of our absolute favorite characters, and it's weird they never talked.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't think they'd have like the best of conversations, but you never
look,
know.
I'm
Like
not
I
saying
said,
they
they're
have to
both.
sit down together and have a cup of tea and discuss the weather, but good lord.
I could. I just would have loved the scene where the two of them are just standing next to each other while they're waiting for something to go on, and they both at the same time go, "I do not have patience for this crap," because neither one of them has patience for this bullshit.
I get the feel that's like 90% of this filler.
Yeah, and this filler does get to do some stuff. It's once again heavily based around the Soul Society, which is the most interesting thing for the fans. Not my favorite place in Bleach. Actually, I kind of wish Bleach did a bit more with the Hollows, but anyway, uh, the story involves Ichigo dealing with Soul Society politics, and as Yoruichi is not Yoruichi, Soifun is a minor noble and a captain. She's kind of embroiled in that, so they do have a chance to clash because Ichigo's coming in with one opinion, and she's basically just, "I'm Soul Society police. Shut
Yeah.
the hell up."
But let's get on with that because we could talk about this for like forever today with how characters interact should be done better with a lot of filler. But let's
Mhm.
just move on just a little bit to technically our new captain.
Yes, the new captain of Squad 3, heavily hinted to have been originally a member of Squad 2 under Soifun.
Huh.
I don't remember where I read that, but overall, he is a fairly likable man.
You don't have to remember his name off the top of your head, do you?
Amagi, I believe his name is. Hang on,
Ah,
I'm
okay.
just going to make sure I'm right. Probably I'm not because it's been a while since I've heard his name pronounced.
Yeah, like once again, just for a repeat, since this is our new season, if we mispronounce anyone's name or locations or anything like that, it's not off malice. We're just simply terrible at both remembering names and pronouncing them, especially if they're not a language we're familiar with speaking.
Shunsui Amage, I was correct.
Aha, Shunsui. I knew there was
Yeah.
an S in his
Well,
last name.
not Shunski. Shunski.
Okay. I knew there was an S in his
Yeah,
last name. I
that's
couldn't
right.
remember where.
Yeah. Regardless, he is promoted because as this takes place after Aizen's rebellion and left, there are now 3 squads without captains.
Okay, there's Eisen Squad, the Blind
Gin,
Captain,
and Gin squad.
Gene
He
Squad.
takes squad 3, which was Gin's.
Okay. For some reason, I
Which
keep thinking Geen was a lieutenant, not a captain. For some reason.
he was a lieutenant under Eisen for a bit, and then he got promoted to squad 3, and then he left.
Yeah.
There's some flashbacks of him as Eisen's lieutenant.
Okay, that's probably where that memory came from.
Yeah. I almost always forget that, so you remembering he was a lieutenant reminded me of that entire plot point. Anyway, of the 3 squads, it actually makes the most sense to do a squad 3 story because squad 5, Eisen squad, I feel like would be the hardest to do a story around.
Honestly, Squad 5 would probably be doing one or two things at the moment. Would
Well, you
either
have to remember. Go ahead.
would either be setting their ranks into other units to try and fill numbers, or
Mhm.
pretty much just putting a ban on them for further investigation. Well, I don't
Yeah.
personally blame anyone in Squad 5. The simple fact that Eisen got 2 other member captains to go with him does leave a lot of questions with what to do with Squad 5 as a whole. And the unfortunate
And
thing
both
is,
both of those captains were already serving under Geen, and then they went off to other
Mhm.
squads. So an entire squad under him, who could be trusted? The other reason why it'd be hard to do a story about Squad 5 is their lieutenant, Momo, is catatonic for most of this part.
oh yeah, I forgot she was.
So the squad has no leadership. It's kind of in disarray. So you'd have to do an entire story about fixing the squad, which not what they wanted to tell.
No, it could be
Squad not
interesting, but not
oh not saying I don't think they'd have enough time for a filler to do it.
yeah. That's it. The problem with that, it feels too long for the filler and too short to be an arc on its own kind of situation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, also it would be very politically minded, so in a different way this one is, so I don't know if people would have enjoyed it as much.
Hmm.
Now, Squad 9 has Hisagi, a beloved character, and he has a shit together.
Yeah.
Hisagi instantly took the role of substitute captain for a while. His squad is okay. It doesn't need as much help in story. Squad 3 has Kira, a very mellow, very depressive man who really liked Geen and feels betrayed by Geen and wants revenge, but he also wants to keep the squad going. So he's a very interesting character. So giving him someone to bounce off actually sounds much better. Momo is catatonic; you can't do much with her.
Mm-hmm.
Hisagi is too competent. A new captain would just fit in perfectly fine. There'd be so little conflict. But a new captain in Squad 3, huh? How would Kira add to this? Hey, he's Amagi brings his own third seat. He
Mm-hmm.
brings someone he trusts
We'll show
and
him up in a
promotes
few moments.
to help out. And he's way more competent than Kira. So Kira gets to feel like, oh God, I'm useless. The squad doesn't need me. Despite the fact that he was holding his squad together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said, if you're going to do a captain storyline, Squad 3 makes sense. I like
Yeah.
it. I got no complaints. And what they do with Squad 3 is pretty cool. You get to see the militaristic and unit behaviors of the Soul Society, which
Yeah.
is a fact part of the Soul Society that I am actually fascinated in.
And for the new captain himself, he is generally a nice guy. He generally, when you first get to know him, he generally cares for his people. He doesn't treat Kira like he's a nuisance for what he wants to try to go with his goals.
No, if anything, he's extremely happy to have someone like Kira to be his
Mhm.
second. Like I can learn a lot from Kira. We find out why he becomes a captain later on, but at the beginning, he is all about being a captain.
Mhm.
He's about making his unit stronger, fixing the mistakes and the issues Geen left behind, and he tries to bolster Kira up a little bit. He's not great at it, but honestly, I think Kira needs antidepressants, not someone to bolster him up.
Yeah, to be fair, this is a tricky situation from both sides. You have Kira, who was trying to keep the squad together and was doing
Mhm.
a great job from what he could. No person's going to be
Yeah,
perfect at this, especially after what just happened.
yeah.
And you have a
Although
new.
I definitely feel like Kira looks over at Squad 9, seeing Hisagi just keeping everything going, running smoothly, and going, "Why can't I be that efficient?" But what we don't see, that we see the few scenes of Hisagi, is he is like panicking, freaking out. Oh God, I don't
Mhm.
have time for anything. But he doesn't show that outside of Squad, and I love that.
Yeah. And you have another new captain stepping in, and any new captain even is going to have a different way they want the unit ran.
Yep.
That's just
Even
how it's going to happen.
like this people from Squad 3 may have been betrayed by Geen, but he was a captain for years, and here comes this new guy. Who does he think he is? He's gonna just buck the ship. Like, okay, sure, Geen betrayed us, but Geen installed donuts on every Friday afternoon. We all got donuts from Geen. Are you gonna give us donuts every Friday? I don't even know what a donut is. This guy sucks. This guy sucks. I don't want to listen to him.
And so, as a new captain, he's got like one or three ways he can generally try and take care of this. He can impose pretty much martial law on his unit to force discipline and obedience. That
That's
usually
so
doesn't
fun
work.
way.
um, he can try and leave everything to Kira and not do anything. The should
Uh,
sway way.
or I also feel that that's the Kampachi way. Like, I'm not doing the bureaucratic stuff. You all do it.
Or he can work with his unit and try and make a middle ground with everything. Like, listen, this is what I want it done. This way you're doing it. Let's see if we can find a middle ground for it.
Which is basically what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And he does go on a couple of missions with his squad because just because I'm captain does not mean I'm better than you guys. Let's work together so we can figure things out. And he does work with his troops. He does protect his troops when the captain needs to step up. He steps up. And what I do love is there's some side stories of the other captains, mostly uh, Ukitake and Kiraku. Okay, you're the new captain. We're the two oldest captains besides the old man. Let's, take you out for drinks and introduce ourselves. Get you to. Oh God, he's a teetotaler.
Mm-hmm. And this is another fine example of showing the outside world. These captains getting involved because the head captains of all the units should at least know each other. I don't
Yeah,
see Kenpachi stepping out for tea, but they should at least be aware. Oh, this man's Kenpachi. Stay the fuck away from him. You see him, just turn the other way.
you say that, but Kanbachi and Shunsui go out drinking all the time.
Hi, really? I forgot that part.
Yeah, there's a little short where Shunsui is having sake with Kenpachi, and they're all moon gazing, but they're not moon gazing. They're watching Ikukun's shiny head, but they think they're
I
moon
forgot
gazing.
that short.
It lives rent free in my head. I love both the English version and the Japanese version of it.
See,
It's
I don't remember the shorts that well. That's why. Okay, but
yeah, but but that's one of the things I like about
yeah,
Bleach is
he's basically just placing himself in and being. It almost goes too well, is what I want to say, because
which is how you know something's behind the scenes.
mhm.
You also know that he won't stick around because it's filler. Although I think his design was helped by Kubo, so Kubo could have thrown him in.
Well, the reason we
Kubo
know
has,
that he's not going to stick around is because we already know future events beyond this, so we know he's nowhere to be seen. So
yeah. I mean, Kubo could have thrown him in. Kubo has taken things he likes from the filler arc skills. You know what? I like that design. You know what? I like that idea. I'm going to incorporate it into my own.
yeah,
So,
but regardless, we know he's not going to stick
but his
around
odds,
at this moment.
but his odds were not good.
But even if this was still just right after Eyes of the Left, things are going just a little too well. You get the sense that, and because no story set without tragedy, something has to happen.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that more later.
Yep.
Now,
the
this is
other
Princess Silly Hat.
that's not her actual name.
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
I know. Every time you see that hat, you just need to make fun of it. But here we have Urishiko Kasumuchi.
Mhm.
Sorry, pronunciation is terrible. And for this, I did not rewatch this arc beyond a couple of key fights. I wanted to keep. I didn't want to overfresh it. I want to see how much I could remember from without it, which is generally a good sign. If I like the filler arc, I can remember a lot of it without going.
Yeah,
"Grrr."
see, the thing is that while I was gathering images from the wiki website, I read a little
Thanks
bit
again,
just
Bleach
to
Wiki.
give a refresher on some things, just minor stuff.
Mhm.
Her family makes ceremonial swords for the Soul Society.
Yeah, not
I
the actual Zanpakuto post, the magic
no.
swords. They make ceremonial things and are a higher, lesser noble. There are four great noble houses, and everything under them are lesser nobles.
Hmm.
They're one of the more important lesser noble houses, meaning they have a lot of finance, they have a lot of abilities that the average person in the Soul Society cannot do. They have their own private gate to the human world, for
Hmm.
example. Now, the reason why she's wearing such a ridiculous hat is she went to the human world without a fake body, and because she's a noble, she actually has a lot of raw energy.
Hmm.
That hat prevents monsters from sniffing her out. The hollows don't see her. The hat itself is based off a traditional Asian hat for noble ladies. So we'll always make fun of it because it looks silly to him. I just think it's a hat.
I know. I'm not trying to. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not insulting anyone's culture or anything like that. But due to the time period, and everything like this, and just her just showing up dressed like this with that hat, and Ichigo just sitting like this, it draws attention. But let's move on a little bit because everything about her will become important in a moment.
Yeah, basically, her whole shtick is she's the noble princess who wants to see more of the world.
Mhm.
That's her story, and it's okay. Nothing to write home about.
I think we got a monkey on board.
I didn't know monkey souls could go to the Soul Society. Wait, we know dogs can go to the Soul Society, and cats have gone to Soul. Yeah, it makes sense. Monkeys can go to the Soul Society.
Okay, but serious note, this is, I believe, a retainer to the princess for previously. I'm not going to even attempt to say her name.
That's fair. His name is Yoku Kume. Oh God, I cannot pronounce these names.
That's why
He is he's a steward to the Kasumuji clan.
Stewart, that was it. Thank you. I could not think of that
Yep.
word.
Steward, advisor, however you want to play it. He is essentially, while the princess is the next in line and her parents aren't there, he is acting as her guardian and her, you know,
Advisor and such and such.
and technically in charge of the clan. Until she's in charge, she's totally gonna be in charge soon. I'm not giving up my power. Kind of story. We've all seen this in, well, everything from Aladdin to anime.
Yeah. It's a tale as old as time. If you know where that
Basically, yeah.
reference is from, you're welcome.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, he is, the two-sided character. He's trying to play the kindly old uncle figure to the princess,
Mm-hmm.
and well, once you
He,
get power,
yeah, he has his finger in a lot of pies going on behind the scenes. I will say that, and we'll discuss those as
yeah,
we get farther in.
yeah. But overall, he really does look like a monkey.
You know what he looks like? A graying orangutan.
Kinda, yeah.
But
I actually do like his glasses, but yeah. So the princess, well, we keep calling her princess, but she's not really. But anyway, she has two loyal bodyguards who are also reoccurring characters, and I actually think these two guys are pretty damn good.
yeah, they have their
Their nickname,
moments, but in the long run, they really don't do much.
no, but they're competent at least at
Yeah,
their
I'm not
jobs.
gonna argue that. There's a difference between
They
not
have,
doing much in this show compared to people like Ichigo and
yeah,
just being incompetent. These two are not incompetent; they're just out of their league with stuff like Ichigo and other stuff.
yeah, they are full-fledged soul reapers, but they're also personal bodyguards. They
Mm-hmm.
have nicknames. The one on the left is Enryu, and the one on the right is Kenryu. But they have full names. But interesting fact about Kenryu, he is voiced by Roger Craig Smith in the dub.
Really?
I think that's the second character he voices in the dub. But yeah, the jokes, they have two jokes. The big guy doesn't talk, and the small guy is there's a rod straight up his ass.
Maybe two.
Now, maybe two, but the big guy doesn't talk, not because he's a mute, but because he talks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's embarrassed by it. But the thing is, what I love is the princess adores his voice. She's like, "Oh my god, that's your voice! I love it." But he's still embarrassed by it. The, the other thing is he's big, he's strong. In the opening animation, he picks up a giant rock and throws, I believe.
Yeah, but yeah, the problem with the hat is that she's constantly losing that thing.
Yeah, until she can get a fake body, she is just constantly in attracting hollows. And what I love about these two is their job is to protect her. Ichigo's the substitute soldier for Katakura Town. Your job is to fight hollows. We're gonna run off with her now. What? You handle this. Wait, what?
To
What's
be
going?
fair, they're kind of in the right on that aspect, but still, dick move, guys. Dick move.
Yeah, come on. And because this is just tropes nonstop, their hiding location in the human world is the house next door to Ichigo's we've never seen before.
Yeah, have we ever seen a house next to Ichigo's place?
To be fair, we only ever see the
Clinic?
Kurosaki clinic from the front of the entrance and out Ichigo's window where it just goes over a street. So, no, we've never looked to the left of the house.
This feels like something
We
we should
see
have noticed before.
We might see it in a couple of cuts, a couple scenes where Ichigo's fighting hollows around his house, but not enough detail is there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but because she is so innocent, she also sees Ichigo going to school, and then she wants to go to school but because she has the body. She's, I think, several hundred years old because she's a spirit, but she dresses up in a high school uniform, which does not fit her because she's so tiny. These two go on school with her. The joke is prim and proper guy's uniform is absolutely immaculate, and big guy's suit barely fits him. He's busting out that shirt
Can
at
I
all
borrow one
times
from
because
Chad?
he's even bigger than Chad.
It probably would have fit
Chad's looking
better.
maybe he already did.
But
Well,
yeah,
let's see.
the
The
thing.
biggest size we have is Sato sized, and good God,
Yeah, the thing about it is that I don't hate her. She's just too much of a trope for me to really get into.
she's a fine example of these tropes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes some like Stanley once said, a story is always someone's first. So this is definitely someone's first time seeing the whole spoiled princess, wanting to see the world, getting herself in a little bit of trouble because she's a bit naive.
Hmm.
And like I said, it's done well. It's not done immaculately well. It's not
No.
like I'm going to tell everyone if you want to see this story, here's an example.
But you
No,
see,
this is just
yeah.
it's good.
But see, the other reason I can deal with it is because this is just a short arc. It's not the entire run of Bleach, so it's not there long enough for me to get annoyed by it or just really like this is a turn off for me. I'm just tired of it. It's there long enough for me saying, okay, this is the trope they're going with. We can move on now.
Yeah, they don't overstay their welcome.
No.
There's a few jokes that I'm just like, oh god, not this again. Or could really you want to do that one? But there's also a few where I'm like, ha, that was cute. I
Yeah,
like it.
they
Like I said,
have their moments. I won't argue that.
And once again, it's just Ichigo's nature to attract people around him and his good nature and protective energy.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, being Ichigo's next door neighbor sounds like a pretty safe thing. Unfortunately, more than just Hollows are after her. See,
Yeah.
the reason why the bodyguards approved of this idea of going hiding in the human world is to actually hide in the human world.
Hi, Assassinos.
Yeah, Monkey Man sends a group of assassins after her because, well, if she just disappears, I guess I'm in charge of the clan.
Yeah,
Yeet.
if you didn't see this coming, you need to read more tropes.
Or you're very young. Welcome in. Or you just got to hear from space. Welcome to Earth's story tropes when it comes to writing. I hope you enjoyed them. Some of them are really good. But yeah,
So,
the thing is, not only do they make ceremonial swords, but this clan made weapons that were in competition with the Zanpakuto.
which raises
And
further questions down the road in Bleach, but let's ignore that.
yeah, these weapons are what the assassins use, and like a good filler arc, they have unique powers that are fairly interesting. Not all of them are to write home about, but
No, and
two.
again, they have interesting designs of the characters themselves. Like it,
Although none of these guys are winning a beauty contest,
no.
which is a
Okay.
shame. So the first one we meet has a sword with a mirror at the end. It
Mm-hmm.
can create blinding lights.
Oh no, I'm blind. If
That is
only I could
so
sense
underwhelming.
energy or something like that, so I know where my enemy was.
Or you're just really loud. Or Ichigo says, "I have a really big sword. You have to get closer to me than I have to you."
Or all the above.
Yes. So this is the lamest one. It does not go very well. Ichigo easily defeats the guy. The weapon then, I believe, eats the guy. So his boss takes the weapon and realizes, oh, it doesn't just do it doesn't do blinding light. It creates illusions. Let's have your mama choke you out.
Yeah, this was actually one of the better scenes in this one.
Oh yeah, because it really speaks to Ichigo's survivor's guilt. His need to protect people is because he couldn't protect his mom.
Mm-hmm.
He got his mom in danger. So playing on that is really good for, as we've been referring to as assassin, we have Kakashi at home.
The thing I like about this, if I remember this scene right, because of how this works, she actually stops trying to kill Ichigo because of the love between the two.
Yeah, the illusion has too much of Masaki Kurosaki into it.
Mm-hmm.
But for those few minutes where she's trying to kill her son, emotional damage to Ichigo. Seriously, he's more emotionally hurt and mentally hurt than losing airflow.
Yeah.
And
Well, the guy
for
can break.
added benefit, the illusion takes place near the spot where his mom died, or at least it recreates that spot.
Yeah, I mean
So,
to be fair, with how strong Ichigo
yay.
is, I mean he breaks concrete with bare hands before becoming a Soul Reaper, beats up people constantly. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
in good shape. So that neck was pretty well protected.
maybe it came from his mom. But yeah, like, this is the stuff I like about fillers. Sure, we've touched on Ichigo's mom issues a few times,
That'll be coming up even farther in the next couple of episodes for this.
but it doesn't feel like they keep repeating the same issues like some stories do. Like they do, he sees the thing that killed his mom in the actual canon story and fails to kill it, so that's more guilt for him. Now he gets to actually fight the ghost of his mom in a sense,
Yeah, see what
and the next time we deal with the legacy of his mother. So it's sure his mom has been brought up multiple times, but we're doing different aspects of that death.
and you know what else we're doing with it? We're getting more details about that day, about his heritage, his mother, and all that. Instead, we're not trying to shovel it all into like one
Yeah,
series or anything. Like, or not one series, one
one arc or one thing, and like
yeah,
they are spread out. Like first arc, and this is what seventh arc, eighth arc,
somewhere around
and
there.
then final arcs. We have his mom again. She's mentioned a few times because, well, the giant poster of his mom and his dad keeps freaking out over.
Really, I
Is a
hadn't
thing,
noticed.
but they don't like beat you over the head with the. It's just one of those things where when you remember it, you go, "All
Mhm.
right, that explains a lot about Ichigo."
And the other thing I like about these arcs, and while it may not be exactly in tune with the main story, it can give you some clues about everything else going on in the background and why certain things happen, even in the main story. Even if it's not canon or something's not 100% accurate with the main storyline, you can still pick up a clue that can help you piece together the main story.
Yeah, and one of the things I feel about the Bleach filler arcs is nobody really ends up holding the idiot ball for some filler arcs. The worst filler arcs, in my opinion, are when characters really act out of character or something really dumb is the way the plot goes, and
Mhm.
everyone else would be like, "We could solve this easily." Like we make fun of Dragon Ball characters letting people transform, but that's a thing the Dragon Ball characters do. If you brought that mechanic over to, say, a Batman story and Batman let a character transform even stronger, that's not Batman. He would interrupt that somehow.
Yeah.
So that's the idiot ball when a character does something really out of character and it's really dumb to let the story go.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
yeah, I don't feel like anyone in this feels out of character, and they do let the other human characters fight some of the assassins.
yeah, let's move on for now. So
Yep,
Kakashi at home, complete with scar and wrong spot.
yep. It's probably the most competent of the assassins,
That
the best
scar is in
looking.
such a wrong spot. It's even going to his hair.
I just noticed. Oh, but how do you scar hair?
Like
Like I know
that's
you can burn
I
hair.
can't
I know
tell
you
if
can get
that's
split.
dumb or impressive.
Like I know barbers used to be surgeons, but he did get this at the barber shop.
Is that where they tried to
But yeah,
attach the wig?
I need to look more like Kakashi, but legally distinct enough. All right, I'll just sew this wig onto you. But
Uh,
yeah, the Pokoto swords have a nasty side effect.
yeah,
If you lose control of them, they'll eat you alive.
see, if you feed them, they become more powerful. But if you're unable to feed them or you lose mental focus with them, yeah, bye bye.
That's why the Zanpakuto ended up being the preferred weapon. Sure, the Makoto are much easier to use. Like you can just give anyone one of these and they can use almost their full abilities, whereas Zanpakuto needs hundreds of years of meditation and communing with the sword spirit to reach even Shikai, and to reach Bankai is even greater. Sure, a single Bankai is better than that, but which sounds better? Arming an entire army of guys with weapons better than Shikai's, or waiting for a couple captains?
We put a couple of captains because some of the lower soldiers couldn't use the Makotos and were eaten by them almost right away.
Yeah, yeah. See, if they didn't have the eat the person alive, the Makoto probably would have won out. But it's kind of a design flaw of, aha, we have beaten the enemy. My sword ate my arm, sir. Ugh. Or you're in the middle of combat, you lose focus. The sword eats you completely and just leaves the sword on the ground. Then the enemy can just pick it up and go, no, I have the power to blind people.
Where did my arm go?
Yeah, they're not great weapon. Wait, I'm pretty sure on the back of these you'll see an umbrella logo stamped on them.
God damn it. But moving on. And I mean, it is still a
The
sword,
animation,
so I can't really argue that point.
yeah, the animation didn't really wow me in this one. It's way better than the bounce animation. I'll give you that much.
Eh,
But the B team was on their game on this one. There were some good shots, some good animation, but eh, they mostly saved the final fight.
yeah. I mean, the designs for the villains were actually pretty unique. They had I wouldn't say a
Here we
theme among
have,
all of them, but
yeah, here we have how Tower Hair Man with
I
his Makoto's ability to create mist.
swear the mist does something else, but for the life of me, I can't remember.
And yeah, I think he can teleport around inside the mist. I mean, it's a great assassin weapon. Just make a fog blanket, and then you just move around and unseen stab people. I think it also like makes his entire like you sense him everywhere in the fog, so you can't really like
Yeah,
determine
I
that
think
way.
that's what
Anyway,
it was. Like you sense him in the entire fox, you can't tell where he's coming from.
yeah,
That sounds about right. But
not a super original weapon, but like I
effective.
said, for an assassin, that's a dream weapon. Like I don't need fancy guns and stuff like that. I can just disappear in the fog.
But like I said, you can kind of tell you see a bit of the Reaper uniform on him.
Yeah,
But
but also the ninja style armor.
yeah, so there's small details like that. It doesn't have to be huge things, but sometimes the
Yeah,
small stuff really kind of adds to them.
yeah.
So next we have the little guy with the scythe that turns him into a blade shooter.
Yeah, I think he just takes a bite of the scythe and then he can just shoot daggers out of his bag.
And that's one hell of a skin condition he's going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, to become a living blade and be able to shoot blades out of anywhere and so like that sounds useful if you're trying to fight somebody.
I mean, it's hard to disarm a guy like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to wonder, was he like that before he got the little scythe that does that? Or is that what the scythe did to him?
I think it was always crazy, but let's move on.
And worst of all, the man can never again make a balloon animal.
So this is one of the ones with the more interesting ability. He has a shovel.
Shovel Knight?
But he gets to fight Chad, and he can pretty much make like wall constructs and then go inside of the wall.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good fight for Chad, who, his whole thing is he's a bunker buster. So
Let's
it's a
bust
pretty
some
good fight.
bunkers.
Just bust down walls. And I like I said, it's nice to have Ichigo's friends do stuff because one of my complaints with the actual storyline, the actual official story, is they sometimes get sidelined.
Yeah, especially poor Chad gets really screwed over in a lot of his fights.
So anytime Chad gets to shine is always good for us. I mean, Chad's not even in our top 20 characters, but I like the guy.
He's a solid
I feel like-
character.
Yeah, I feel like I could go out for lunch and hang out with Chad. I feel like he'd be a great person to hang out with. He wouldn't say much, but
Maybe that's why he's so perfect to hang around with.
And best of all, Chad wouldn't stiff you on the bill.
Yeah. But once again, it's like the animation, while not top notch, I won't argue that. You still get interesting things like this of him warming out of the wall and then becoming himself again.
Like I said, not well animated, but well shot. Like the angles are good. I like it. But again, nothing to write home about.
And then we find out that our new captain has one of these swords.
That's the thing he's been hiding in his white paper cloth under his shirt.
Now, previously we thought this could have been a different type of Zanpakuto.
We thought he had a dual type Zanpakuto.
Which was a really good red herring, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Once again, just for the sake of the new season, I will say this about Bleach. It is one of the best at accidental and intentional foreshadowing, in my opinion. And to sneak this in as a weapon that the enemy uses, but not reveal it right away, but still show off its unique abilities, phenomenal idea.
And even then, you don't know what its abilities are the first time he uses it.
But it's something incredible, because the first time he used it, I believe he stopped the
cleaner, the thing that deletes space and time.
And while he didn't outright destroy it like Isaac will do later, he at least stalled it to allow his team his unit to escape.
Yeah, and unlike the assassins, he's using it for the greater good. He's using it to protect his squad, protect the protectors. So you think, okay, maybe even if he has one of these things, maybe he's not that bad of a guy. And honestly, he isn't that bad of a guy. He's just been terribly misled.
In a lot of ways.
Yep.
And because we've seen when Zanpakuto is released, we've seen a lot of them in various forms. So something like this is not that out there for us.
No. There are stranger designed Zanpakutos.
Oh god, yes.
But I do like how that is a tuning fork that he strikes to make the sound, and that's what causes the ability. I like that little detail.
And that's one of the things I think that misleads you, because he's interacting with the Zanpakuto, so you get the feeling it's a dual-wielded interactive Zanpakuto.
Yeah. Who knows? It's not the best hidden. It's very easy to figure out what it is very quickly. But at the same time, if you want to, you can just go, nah, it's not that. Unless you're jaded like me and Soul and go, okay, this is going to be evil, isn't it?
Yep.
It looks like it has an eyeball on top of it.
Oh, speaking of eyeballs.
Yeah, it fully releases itself and becomes his new right arm.
And a tail.
And also tail and weird shoulder guard. What we see there is his Bankai, meaning he can use both the ceremonial evil Eat-You swords and his own Zanpakuto. And to prove he's a captain, he has a Bankai. And honestly, it's not that bad of a Bankai in terms of design. It's a giant flamethrower sword. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. Not only can the hook of the sword heap fireballs at you, but the bottom of that thing can just shoot a straight up stream of fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the most like powerful flames on Zanpakuto ever, but because it's not the most powerful flames on Zanpakuto, it's still a sword. He can still use it in combat. He can one hand it. He can dual wield it.
He's got
He
a
can.
hook thing with it to do various things with.
Yeah. So he not only is he not setting himself on fire and setting his allies on fire, he still is competent in the fight. The problem with other flames on Zanpakuto is there's usually a huge collateral damage involved. His is controlled.
Mm-hmm. And it's versatile, which I'll give that. Some of them seem more one note than they should be if you
Yeah.
learn how to use them. But his is versatile, and he knows it.
Like the hucking fireballs is his slowest attack, but it still gives him greater range. The
Mm.
flamethrower is mid-range to short range, but it's fast. He just has to point it at you, and then boom, there comes a wave of fire.
But the thing that really
Sure.
shines here is that we've seen the other people we've seen were only capable of using the Bakoto. He's using a high energy demanding Bankai, which all Bankais need a lot of energy to be able to pull off, and a energy eating sword to do other things with. So this is really showing off just how powerful he actually is and why he's actually made captain.
Yeah, he's a captain for a reason. He's got the huge well of strength, combat abilities, and honestly, I think that one arm is a cool design.
Yeah. And the tail, I like. There's no reason to have the tail, but I don't think he's ever actually used it. But it's still cool looking.
It's there to show that he is slipping from humanity, which
I'll
is
take
just
it.
decent storytelling,
Yeah.
visual storytelling.
But let's move on a little bit.
But...
So, Evil Monkey Man became evil.
So the whole thing is, he for hundreds of years ago, because everything in the Soul Society is long term, has been going behind the scenes making these illegal weapons because the Bakoto were outlawed.
Yeah,
they lost the Zanpakuto. They're very dangerous weapons. No, don't make any more. But then how could I amass more power if I don't have more soldiers with powerful weapons? So the head captain of Squad 1, Captain Genryusai, sends one of his squad members to investigate things because he's not allowed to do this because, as he's a nobleman, the ruling body have said, don't go investigate him. He's a good, clean man. General Old Man Yomo's like, yeah, I don't buy that for a second, so here's an illegal search operation I'm doing. And it fails.
Yeah, it's
he gets
one of
no
the few
evidence,
things I can agree with Yamamoto about.
Yeah, he loses this illustrious soldier, and because he did an illegal search, he has to disavow them because he came back with no evidence. Unfortunately, due to this circumstance, his son only gets the picture of Old Man Yamamoto being a douche nozzle.
Because his father was giving a Bakoto driven mad and given the mission to kill Yamamoto. Being driven mad and Yamamoto not knowing if there was a way to cure him and still needed to protect his own life, had to strike down the person he sent in to spy on the nobles.
Yep, and then he had to disavow him to save face, which shamed his family, and his son was left with a burning hatred for Old Man Yamamoto, and he changed his name and started serving the Soul Society to work his way up to get close enough for revenge. And Monkey Man took complete advantage of this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Monkey Man gets reserved. This was the third seat we were talking about. He's loyal to Amagi. Amagi wants to kill the head captain. Kira is loyal to the Soul Society. So these two get a good clash. And the entire arc is this man being way more competent than Kira. And Kira hating it and feeling like he's a loser. And anytime he brings up any negativities, people just think, oh, you're just being jealous of the new guy.
See, here's the thing. This third seat has the lamest Bakoto in the entire thing.
It just lets him lift up his weapon psychically. That's it.
But doesn't help if it weighs several thousand pounds.
Yeah, Kira Zanpakuto is anything it hits doubles in weight, and if he hits again, it doubles again. I'm not saying it becomes 2 times. No, I'm saying it becomes 4 times. and then 8 times, and then 16 times, and then on and on and on and on.
I
With
forget the
no
name, but Kira's Zanpakuto I really kind of like just by the name and everything like that.
Wabiske.
Abiske, thank you.
Yeah, it's the command phrase is raise your head, Wabiske. The sword is shaped like a crook because you'll end up kneeling before him. He can wrap the sword around your neck because you're too heavy to move and lop off your head.
Yeah, just let gravity do the rest.
Yep. And like we said, like just because you can psychically lift it, eventually you're gonna hit your weight limit. Sure, the psychic limit is probably a lot higher than your arm strength, but uh, 2 tons, 4 tons,
3.
8 tons.
We can just keep going.
And because you have to launch it at Kira, who has his, I'll just block. He doesn't need to like hit it with any part. It's just as long as his sword makes contact with you, it
Hmm.
doubles in weight. Simple power, terrifying results.
I would have loved to see what his Bankai would have been like.
I believe we do get to find it in one of the novels.
I'll have to check on that. But for now, let's move on because this is really
Yeah.
just Kira just getting what he deserves,
So
some respect and
and
outcomes.
like we said, this was completely an unnecessary fight. It was a good fight.
Yeah.
I know there are fans of Kira. Though. I'm not, but good for him. But yeah, the main ability of Amagi's Makoto is Zanpakuto Nullification. Any Zanpakuto that he is not using loses their ability. It's the perfect weapon against someone like Genryu Sai, who is so reliant on his flame Zanpakuto.
Not like he just bodied a monster made from armors or anything like that.
Or knows every Kido spell. Yeah, this is one of our big problems with this arc. Volpaniamon does nothing. Like, as soon as this ability activates, he stands in one place for the entire rest of the fight. It's
It,
not like the Makoto was designed to nullify all the Soul Reaper's abilities. They say Zanpakuto.
and even if it was, this guy is still a hardened veteran of combat.
Look, just because you can like turn off his ability to cast Kido, and you've made him unable to punch really hard, he still would probably know several ways of disarming you
And
unhanded, or
I'd like to still
judo
point out,
throws.
a Zanpakuto is still a sword.
Yeah, he can still just stab you with it.
And the
But
other
yeah,
thing is,
this
I think I'm sorry, but I think my other
go ahead.
problem with that is that he doesn't really show remorse or anything once he finds out. He just kind of still just stands there. I'm like, if
Your
you're
dad died for my mission. Uh-huh. Do you feel sorry? No, your dad died honorably. You murdered him. Uh-huh.
honorably, I murdered him honorably.
But then you dishonored my entire family. Yes, but your father went to the grave knowing he had his honor. You don't that's like that makes perfect sense unless you remember that the Soul Society is heavily based off Japanese society, which is incredibly honor based. Especially if your father gets dishonored, you have to carry that shame too.
Yeah, it
Oh yeah,
starts out with
okay.
the old man doing the right thing and investigating nobles despite being told no.
Yeah.
And then we get to here, and it's like, a few words to this kid behind the scenes, you could have had an agent
Yeah.
to sneak into the nobles for you.
Yeah. If you had like pulled the son aside, it's like, I'm terribly sorry I killed your father. I'm terribly sorry the shame that will befall you guys. To make it up to you, I'm going to adopt you. There, you fixed that problem. The kid doesn't roll up in shame anymore because who's gonna fuck with the now adopted son of the head captain?
And not only that, you can reveal the truth to him when he's slightly older, and so this is what really happened.
Yeah.
Because he's got to have
Like I
some
get
evidence somewhere tucked away for all this shit.
yeah, I get holding your secrets from Central 46, but
Especially with Center
that's just
46 telling you, hey, don't do this.
that's just levels of paranoia that, is one of the reasons why Eisen got to move around so easily.
Yeah. Stupid government not doing its job properly.
Yes. But yeah, this does lead to, well, Ichigo putting his nose into things.
One
So
of
the
my
Makoto also can turn into a beam sword.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've got two swords. Haha.
And it can nullify any Zanpakuto. Why isn't your Zanpakuto been nullified?
See, this is
Oh, crap.
this is also what with foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we all know it's a little late in the time scheme because I forget what time did this come out?
This came out during the early parts of the Espada arc, so we have not known the full truth about Hollow Ichigo yet.
Okay. So this is another prime example of foreshadowing that we all know about what Hollow Ichigo actually is. I won't say it now. We'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
But
we went over that in one of our episodes, but
we have, but still, what if someone just wanted to see this episode? So
yeah.
when you know, and this just leads to one of the longer Hollow mask fights, and it's pretty well animated. This is definitely the highlight of the animation for this. These few episodes about
Mm-hmm.
this, and it does get kind of weird because old man Yamamoto is like 4 panels to the right, still just standing there watching this, not saying anything. He's just like, oh my god, I think he's asleep standing up.
You know, no, he's taking bets on who's going to win. He's literally got a hat behind his back, taking bets on who's going to win the fight.
This is one of the reasons why a lot of people consider him a jerk ass Yamamoto. But
Yeah,
this is a pretty good fight, and Ichigo, like he always does, tries to talk things through, but he also does go for some very brutal slashes here and there.
well, he does
He
have
is,
his mask on, so
yeah, he is backed against the wall several times. It's a good fight. Power scaling, don't think about it. Just
yeah,
don't.
no.
Power scaling, don't.
Look, I'm sorry. Bleach power scaling is kind of worse than Dragon Ball Z at times.
It's easy to understand, but also easy to fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it feels like complete utter bullshit. Regardless, this is still a good, fun fight to watch. Of course, it ends up with the Bokoto going out of control and the third captain learning the truth, then getting forgiveness, but then being eaten by his sword.
No, actually, he sets himself on fire and apologizes.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way to get a big for apology,
Yeah.
which basically does bring in the whole mind of ritual suicide in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
overall
does
for this
feel
arc,
like
I would
it
have
does.
to. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
Okay. Overall, I enjoyed the arc. The showing off of the Soul Society and some of the inner politics, despite raising some questions about the entire storyline.
Yeah.
Just seeing
Like this story easily could have been canon. There's nothing really that breaks the canon that much. Just the placement of it is my problem.
well, there's only two minor things that really break the story for me because of how we find out that Soul Society actually works later on, and that's the competition between the Bakotos and the Zanbakutos. Just kind of
that
raises a few questions,
it does.
and it feels a little odd that this guy did just seemingly come out of nowhere at a captain level.
Well, it's implied he was under, as he's a member of Squad 2, he's under a secret mission. Like he's a stealthy guy.
Well,
Which,
my point is that there were other people that there was no one else that was like they just pointed here. They didn't have like nominations of anybody else. In a sense,
it doesn't feel like a problem to me because the Soul Society has hundreds and hundreds of Soul Reapers, so we're not going to know everyone who's skilled, and lots of them are in training to learn Bankai, which is the first step of being a captain.
Oh
so,
no,
I guess.
I think I
So him coming
misspoke is what I meant. I meant to say is like he was. They just pushed him in and didn't really recommend anybody else as like just kind of like just say names or anything like that. They just already had
apparently
him.
the way the captain they become a captain works. Your captain has to nominate you. 3 other captains need to evaluate you. Then the head captain has to approve.
Well, I would just say like they could have said they were evaluating other people, but this is the one that all voted on or something like that.
I think they actually did say that.
Oh well, then I might misremembered that. But if that's what they did, then my problem is solved. If not, then that was one of my issues. I could be misremembering. To be entirely possible.
Personally, I feel like they're being a bit more strict on how they pick captains because the last 3 went rogue. We need to be really strict on this. Oh, grab the 4th one went rogue too.
To be fair, that is true. So I can't really argue the point overall.
Yes, but it could have been better explained. Yeah, but yeah, overall, my biggest problem is when do I watch this? I don't like where it is in the anime, but I don't know where else to put it, and that's my biggest problem with this arc. Everything else is just it's good.
Yeah,
It is perfectly. It's like you're really in the mood for a cheeseburger, but your favorite diner's closed today, so I'll go get a cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's not as good, but hey, it scratches that itch.
yeah. I would still have to try and say I'll put this under wasted potential just because
God, yes.
Th-
It- It's 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 wasted potential because honestly, if they just cut out the princess, I think this would have been a stronger arc. I
Well,
don't hate her.
I think they had the
I just
princess to
don't.
try and get better ties with the Monkey Man and everything like that. Because,
You're not wrong, but at the same time, if they had just fully focused on that, and honestly, I think one of the ballsier things they could have done is have this be an Ichigo free arc. I love Ichigo. He's a good main character, but sometimes it feels like stories are afraid that if you don't have the main character on screen, viewers are just going to leave. But at the time, Ichigo wasn't even the most popular character in Bleach.
well, I think they did this for two reasons. One, because Ichigo is synonymous with Bleach. It's just how it is, being the main character.
Oh yeah,
And two, with this scene right here, it really, like I said, giving you hints about stuff farther along in the story.
oh, I'm not saying like remove
So,
this fight. I still think this fight's
oh no, no,
amazing.
I'm just saying, like, the reason
I don't
Ichigo's
know.
even here for this, to resolve the issue, is
Yeah,
to drop little hints like this throughout for it. But that's just my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. Like it's still good. I just don't know how I'd fix it without really reworking a lot of it.
Fair.
And honestly, another thing I think about this, you can skip this.
Yeah, you're not
I,
missing
I, I
anything.
it's not even like there's the next story arc we're going to cover. I don't think anyone should skip it. Like if you're a manga only person, I still recommend you watch the next
Is
arc we
that
do, which is the
the?
that's the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc.
Ah,
And while that also is not the best animated in places, it's still good deep dive to some of these characters and stupid fun in places.
oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay, well, that one will
I look
not be
for
under waste potential. I can guarantee that
no,
one.
that's definitely semi perfect. And I know some people who hate that arc, but we'll get to that when we get to
Yeah,
that arc.
but
But overall, I do think this arc itself is stronger than some of the official arcs, but not necessary to watch.
I'm gonna
I
give
I
it
like this
a
arc I like this arc a little bit more than most of the Soul Society arc. I know that's blasphemous because a lot
yeah.
of people consider that to be the best Bleach. I don't. I think it's good. I think it's fantastic. I love watching the Soul Society, but I think this one's just a little bit better because it's tighter.
Yeah, it definitely has a better focused story, and the little connections between everything run really well with the Bakotos and everything like
And
that.
I'm not saying I would have preferred this over Soul Society because honestly, without the Soul Society arc doing all that heavy lifting,
None of this would have
you know,
happened.
you know what the Soul Society arc reminds me of, Soul?
What's that?
A Realm Reborn.
Yeah,
I would not want to play 14 without Realm Reborn, even though, I'm not that crazy about it.
well, I just got to manage to fix that. But let's move on. Um,
Yes, but yeah,
my ranking for this, I would give it a solid 6.
this is this good rating for this, yeah. But like we said, it it's skippable.
Yeah,
You
I
can just
think for that
ignore it.
reason I wouldn't give it higher because you're not really
No,
missing anything that you would see better otherwise. Some of the fights are interesting, the abilities are interesting, but
yeah,
it's just too many
it's
questions got raised.
it feels kind of paint by numbers. Like they used really good paints, but it's still paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
again, it's filler arc.
oh, by the way, I meant to tell you,
Yeah,
next week I got a fishing trip planned up.
yeah, fish.
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever gotten hurt going fishing.
It's, have fun. I'm gonna be staying on dry land for a while.
Okay, I'll see you in about 2 days after next week when I get back.
Make sure you have a nice long the hazmat shower
Why?
for the fish smell.
Well, goodbye, everybody. Wish me luck on my fishing trip.
I need to find a new host at this rate.